So this is the implant, which has a anchor flange, which prevents it from tilting and coming out. It actually floats between the skin, which comes right under this ring, and allows the patient to gain or lose weight without having any problems. When you look at the interior of it, you can see also a porous structure, which is an original patented design with several very precise parameters, and one of them is that there are no dead ends. Those parameters are tailored to physiology, which allows neovascularization and colonization of those channels by new cells, and allows the serosa of the intestine to grow into it. This part here goes through the skin, and as you can see, those are slightly tilted, very narrow little pillars, and those pillars have also a very precise dimension, which is that of a hair, based on the observation that when hair goes through the skin, it doesn't make an inflammation. So the part here going through the skin, which normally triggers an inflammation, and you can see that on your sons and daughters when they have piercings, it gets red around it, and here it does not. So the whole thing keeps calm. We do, however, trigger an inflammatory reaction, which is a constructive inflammatory reaction, which does not trigger macrophages, but triggers the ingrowth of the tissue, of the soft tissue. All this, when you put the intestine through it, like this. Actually, I'm going to show you this. Sort of in place. This is how it's going to be when it's in place. A part above the skin, the rest under. The part under the skin grows nicely in over 3 to 4 weeks. What you want to do in the beginning is create a stable system that prevents the intestine from moving. So you build like a conventional ileostomy, which instead of being stitched to the skin is stitched to this, what we call Turnbull adapter. It appears on our observations that when the ingrowth of the intestine has taken place into the device, the stitches here fall off by themselves. When they don't fall off all of them right there, it will look like this with maybe 1 or 2 stitches, and then the surgeon knows after 4 weeks, 5 weeks that it's time to trim it. Then this is taken away. Usually it has shrunk a little bit, and it's maybe 1.5, 2 centimeters high. 2 things can happen then. Either you trim it with a pair of scissors about 5 millimeters above the device, and you wait 1 more week, and then you can use the lid. If you wait 3 weeks without doing nothing, it's going to shrink back, not moving. I mean, this tissue is going to shrink down and adapt, and at the end there will be a little bulge. We experimented that with 1 patient, and there was a little bulge, and actually it does not prevent the lid from being put on, because the lid is like this. This is how it looks like when everything is in place after 6 weeks, ready to use the lid. The back?
Yeah.
That's how it looks when when the back is there. So there is no tilting when because of that flange. It's a little bit the same principle like an oil rig. When the sea gets rough, they just let the chains go and then it floats around. They put it back into place, put the chains on again. Here we don't have chains because of the ingrowth. And this is how it looks when it's fully functional. Then the system needs to be used, and here we have a lid. This lid is rather complex design, although it looks really easy, but this is how it works. You pull here, and there's a hatch that opens. You push down, and the hatch closes. To put the lid on and off, there is a two-way system. To open this, you have to press here. So you press here with your finger and pull down here. This makes it open. You see? And when it opens, you put it on. To make sure that it closes, you have to do this. And you hear the click. This is on purpose, because when you don't hear the click, they will do this to figure out if it's tight. If they hear the click, they know it's tight. They will not pull or push or twist or do whatever. We don't want them to traumatize the system. So then, this is how it looks when they have it on. Now they need to go. They feel that it's filling up, and here we have another device, which is the plate, the back plate. They put it on, and as you can see, it's not touching the skin. So the whole system is a no skin touch system, which prevents the skin problems. Then you take either that's the Convatec sleeve. You put it on, you glue it on, and you open the hatch.
Through the bag.
Yeah. Through the bag. You open the hatch. It empties. Either when it empties, it's really empty. It doesn't come back and flow unless you cough or you do something. So you can just either, what I would do is close it, take the bag holder and the sleeve off and discard it, throw it away. Or you take off the sleeve or the bag, and that you can do the same thing with a conventional bag and walk around maybe 10 minutes while it empties slowly. Sort of statistically, the emptying takes 10 minutes. 10, sometimes 15 minutes. It really depends on the diet these patients have. Sometimes they crave for chocolate and then they have pain for 2 days and they just live like that. So this is the system. During the night, you can leave that on and put the little, how do they call that, the girdle? Yeah. To keep it on. But in a later stage, what we are going to do is develop a bag that fits without this directly on, so that we have another market or another device for a captive audience that will use this. What we are going to do also is another bag that clips directly onto the device, so they don't need to go up at night. They clip it on, it holds tight, and because of the little rim here and the groove, I mean, this is going to hold like crazy. Like this. This is not going to go off because it needs a lot to go off. You need to press here, and you need to not press hard, but you really need to do something to get it off. So the accidental loosening of the system is just not there. Very good.